Hey guys, welcome back to Douglas on Trading. In my last video, you will know that I blew my funded account in epic fashion. I don't do things small, so if I'm going to lose big, and that's what I did. But there's good news. So typically when you're going for funding, you have very limited options. You've got like OneUp Trader, you've got TopStep Trader, and then there's a new guy in the block called Earn to Trade. Now they're not that new, they've been around for a few years, but they're still making updates, tweaks here and there, and they're not as well known. And before this, they only offered an expensive option. They offered a 60-day challenge, meaning you had to go through the full 60 days. It was like $349. I think they've even increased the price now. It's over $400 now to take that challenge and to earn your funding account. And it wasn't even a very good deal, to be honest, because you weren't guaranteed the full funding amount. They were going to base your funding amount on how well you did in the challenge. So if you took a cheaper option, let's say from OneUp Trader, that was only like $120 or something, you could go down $100 a month, I think there. Now that's per month. So the way Earn to Trade sells it is you get 60 days of trading for $349. There's no monthly fees. Once it's over, it's over. So there is something to be said about that. But in the OneUp challenge, if it's the 25,000 bracket or whatever, you have to hit like $1,500 to get funded. You can't go below $1,500 or you lose the account. But if you pass the challenge, you get your hypothetical $25,000 account, meaning you get the same parameters that you took in the challenge. You get $1,500 target to kind of begin with. You're on sort of a trial basis, and if you lose $1,500, you lose the account. So you knew exactly what you were going to get. But with Earn to Trade, it was different. They based, like you could go for, that was like the top end, what OneUp was offering, you know. So if you took the challenge, your challenge parameters was the top end of what you could get funded with. But the odds were that you were going to actually get a worse offer than that. So I never went with Earn to Trade. So instead of saying, we're going on the cheapest bracket again. So instead of saying, let's say it was $1,500 for OneUp, we're going to compare apples to apples here. $1,500 target, $1,500 loss limit. Earn to Trade, if you didn't do stellar, you weren't going to get that. You were going to get like $1,000 loss limit or something like that. They were going to give you tighter parameters than what you defeated the challenge with. So that's all changed. They still have that option if you want to go for that full 60-day kind of the epic big challenge, but now they're getting more in line with TopStep, more in line with OneUp. They've come out with what they call their Mini-Gauntlet. So they have the big gauntlet, which is the 60-day one I was talking about. Now they have the Mini-Gauntlet, and I think it's a great deal. And actually right now they're offering an epic deal for $25 for the first month. It's going to be $150 after that. Now you're probably going to take more than 1 month to beat the challenge. You have to have a hot hand if you're going to do it in 1 month. So keep that in mind. You'll probably end up paying for a second month, maybe even a third month, depending on how you do. But the great thing is for $25, you can try their first month of the challenge. You could even get funded in that time. And if you blow the account, you've only blown $25. That's what's so great about this. Your risk is so small. You're only going to be paying that larger monthly fee if hypothetically you're doing well enough to keep going, right? And the parameters are good, so it's in line with the OneUp, the cheapest version of the OneUp challenge. And you can look it up online. I don't have all the specific numbers in front of me, but there are some bonuses. And this is why I highly recommend doing this. Other than the price, you're going to get a free subscription for the period of the challenge to Journalytix, which is an automated trading journal. So you're going to have sort of an epic look of all of your numbers. This is very important, and the great thing about it is my understanding with Journalytix is you don't have to manually enter all that stuff. It should work with your trading platform in some way. I'm not sure how all that works. I'm going to sign up and find out. I've always wanted to try Journalytix. Didn't want to buy it because I'm a cheap bastard, but I love the fact that it's going to be in there. The other thing is I believe with this challenge you get funded the exact same way as your challenges. Whatever your challenge parameters are, that's what you end up getting funded with, and that is a good thing. So there's no confusion on what you're going to end up with if you do pass the challenge. And basically the basics of the challenge is 15 days minimum trading. So you have to execute a trade for a minimum of 15 days, right? So it's not 15 calendar days, like you have to execute a trade on 15 total days. And if you do that and you've met the requirements to win the challenge, then you'll get funded. Now there's a few rules. Of course, there's the news rule. You don't trade during big market moving news indicators, so you got to stay out of trades 1 minute before and 1 minute after these news. This is the same with all of the challenges, OneUp, TopStep, no matter what you go with, that's all the same. And you have to, of course, not hit your drawdown, which that is the same as well. If you lose too much money, you're going to get your account pulled. I mean, that's just obvious. And then the third thing you need to know is there is a, what do they call it? There's like a ladder, a progression ladder to how many contracts you can trade. So if you go with the $25 option, you're going to be limited to 3 contracts, but that's based on a progression ladder. So you can actually only trade with 2 contracts until you've hit a certain level. So you've got to get a certain amount of profit to earn the ability to trade with that 3rd contract. Now, I kind of recommend, just for the challenge, just stick with the 2 contracts, get comfortable with that, pass on the same parameters so you're not mixing stuff up. Now, one important thing to cover here is there's a lot of negativity about challenges to begin with. They're just out to get your money. You'll hear that they're a hamster wheel, all this kind of thing, because they have all these rules. Well, the rules with Earn a Trade are very clear cut. They're very upfront, they're very honest, they're very open. There's not any hidden rules that I've discovered. I've done a lot of reading about reviews with them. I haven't found any secret, tricky rules. Just make sure that you do your due diligence, read their page, know what the rules are, trade within those rules, and then I ask you this question: did you think somebody was going to give you their money to trade with and not give you any rules to follow? Think about it. And the second thing to think about is, where else are you going to get funding from? Okay, if you don't want to trade with your own money, if you want to protect yourself and protect your risk, are you going to go borrow it from your friends and family? You're going to lose your friends and family because you're probably going to lose their money. So I don't really understand the negativity towards some of these things. Now I understand why some people think it's a hamster wheel, because trading is so difficult. Almost everybody loses, and they lose all the time. So somebody that wants to get funded is just going to keep like pumping quarters into the machine. You know, they're like, oh, I'll try again, I'll try again, I'll try again. But that's not the company's fault that they're doing this. That's their own fault. If you lose a challenge, what you need to do is go back to the drawing board and find out what you've done wrong and what you can do better. I think it's one of the best learning experiences you can have, because you're on sim trading, but there's so many sim trading millionaires out there, you probably can't count them, and then nobody can make money on live money because it's just so hard. The extra element of psychology involved, it totally changes trading. So this is it's the best way I know of to dip your toes in the water. That's the best way to word it that I can think of. Like it's like a halfway point between trading on the simulator, which has no real risk involved, which means it's not real trading, and throwing your real money out there, and then all of the stress that can be involved with that. So you're trading with someone else's money. There's some restrictions involved, but it's great. And if you think about it, if you spend let's say you pay full price, you spend $150 to take the challenge, you lose $1,500 or $1,700, whatever the parameters are, and you lose your account. Well, what have you done? You've protected yourself from losing $1,500. In a way, that $150 is just insurance. All right, if you want to test your strategy live, this is this is just the best way to do it. Now you could go to like mini contracts or something like that the cost is a lot less. That's kind of a new option with futures, is trading those E-minis, but you're very limited on what instruments you can trade. Like you can trade the ES, or Russell or something, but you can't trade oil, you can't trade gas, you can't trade gold. There's a lot of different things that people want to trade. That's not even an option with. So if you want to take this challenge, and I think you should take advantage of this, even if you don't know if you're quite ready to go live, it's only $25 and you're going to learn a lot about your trading. You're going to get the numbers back because there's probably a chance that you're not journaling. You're going to get your numbers back. You're going to see, oh, this is not sustainable. I can't trade like this. I can't trade with an upside down risk reward. I can't trade with my losses being 3 times what my winners are. And then you're going to get that feel for what it's like to trade with some real money on the line. And that will add a whole new element to your life. You're only going to get better if you try that out. So, I've ranted enough. See you next time, guys.